Thank you. Minister, the total cost of the broadband plan between 2020 and 2043 will be now almost £3 billion. Of that, £1.5 billion in additional funding over and above what is already allocated in the development plan between 2020 and 2027. And of that, between now and 2023, £782 million will be required. On the 6-1 news some weeks ago, and again in PQs to myself, you said categorically that no project in the development plan will be cancelled, delayed or impacted by the decision to proceed with the broadband plan. Can you explain in detail how this will be delivered, considering you say it will be from future increased revenue? IFAC say that's not credible. Your Secretary-General says it will come from future capital expenditure projects. You say that's not credible. ESRI said this morning you possibly have to raise taxes. So it will either come from, I believe, from borrowing or cutting expenditure, and maybe you'd enlighten the House how that will happen.
Good morning, Cahirlock. As the Deputy is aware, I am responsible for setting the overall multi-annual capital expenditure ceilings and for allocating these resources across government departments. My department is also subsequently responsible for monitoring expenditure on a monthly basis at a departmental level against these agreed ceilings. In this context, the precise scheduling of the multi-year funding of the National Broadband Plan will be set out in full in the context of the budgetary process for 2020. Beyond that, I should explain, as I have done on a number of occasions, that the Department of Communications, Climate Action and Environment is the sponsoring agent and the Government is the final sanctioning authority. It is now the responsibility of the sponsoring agency, though obviously I will be working closely with them, for the National Broadband Plan to comply with the provisions of the Public Spending Code. Where the Government is the sanctioning authority, then the Public Spending makes clear that the day-to-day oversight functions of the sanctioning authority revert to the relevant line department, which is the Department of Communications, Climate Action and the Environment, and the Government is then involved at all major decision points. My department has engaged with the Department of Communications, Climate Action and the Environment throughout the process in relation to the economic appraisal of the National Broadband Plan. In addition, there is ongoing engagement between the Department of Communications, Climate Action and the Environment and my department in relation to the cost and affordability of the plan. In particular, once it emerged that the cost of the project was not capable of being funded within the allocation originally made for the project in the National Development Plan. In monetary terms, the impact of the project on the overall fiscal position will necessitate an additional requirement of approximately €200 million in 21 and 22 and approximately €300 million in 2023. Which will result in a depreciation of the general government balance of approximately 0.1% of both GDP and GNI star on an annual basis. And I'll be laying out in Budget 2020 and in the run-up to that how I plan to accommodate that.
And you will have further opportunity to come back. Deputy Cowen, 1 minute.
I just want you to clarify the comments that you've made previously, especially those on the 6-1 news and subsequently, where you said categorically, as I said in my lead into the question, that no project within the National Development Plan will be cancelled, delayed or impacted by the decision to proceed in the National Broadband Plan as is envisaged to be an extra 1.5 billion. And you say 500 million between now and 2023. We're also awaiting details of the 400 million overspend still outstanding in relation to how you will quantify that or pay for it in relation to the Children's Hospital. So that's £1 billion in the short term. So if in the budget process you'll be outlining, will you be given an indication as to where this will come from? Because as I said, IFAC say it's not credible to say it will come from future revenues. ESRI say it will possibly come from taxation. Your own General Secretary says it should come that projects will be foregone. You disagreed with that and you said that's not credible. But I think if they have laid their cards on the table and quite categorically, I think it's incumbent on you to do likewise on behalf of those that we all represent.
Thank you for your cooperation, Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Deputy, and I certainly will be doing so, and indeed I will be required to do so as part of the budgetary process for 2020 and beyond, which I'll be engaging on with you, Deputy Cowen, and with Deputy McGrath. I want to repeat here in the House what I have said before, that it is my intention that no other projects will be affected as a result of the decision to move ahead with the National Broadband Plan. There are other reasons beyond any decision on the National Broadband Plan why sometimes projects can be delayed, can happen in a different way to anticipate it. This can be due to the planning process. It can be due to decisions that government departments make. It can be due to the length of time of the tendering process. All of those things can happen and do happen, but I'll reiterate again, it is not my intention to change other projects as a result of going ahead with this decision. And Deputy, you asked me to put my cards on the table at a point in time, Deputy, in relation to the National Broadband Plan. Your own party will need to do the same. Because the issue that I've grappled with is if you are committed to 100% coverage and the use of fibre optic technology and you want this to happen on time, this, on balance, for me, was the only way of doing it. If you feel differently, which is your right to do so, at a point in time you'll need to explain what that alternative is.
The beauty about your position is that you're in government and you have responsibilities, and you have to make priorities on behalf of this, Dáil, because you have the majority in which to do so. You know, playing games with me about what I'd do and what I wouldn't do is not up for discussion here. I need to know what's available in relation to the public finances to deliver on the development plan that this Dáil has agreed with. And you're not being straight with the people when you can't enlighten them of that fact. So I would ask you to be conscious of that, and to be conscious of the fact that, as I said, others who are independently appraising this, not me, have said that your position is not credible, and it's very worrying that you haven't sought to clarify the comments that you've made previously in relation to the commitment you've made that no project would be affected. Now you say they may be affected, but you won't enlighten us as to how that is the effect. You said projects will be delayed. 99 million worth of projects have been delayed because of this year's commitment not being acceded to in relation to the National Development Plan because of the Children's Hospital overrun. You've yet to inform us of another 400 million in that regard, on top of a 500 million between now and 2023, as you've said yourself.
Thank you.
So what exactly will be delayed, and how long will it be delayed, and will it be sufficiently delayed that people can forget about the commitments that were made on the road trips last year?
Final comment, Minister.
I don't need reminding by you of what my responsibilities are. I'm well aware of it. But you're not without responsibility yourself.
I hold you account. That's my responsibility.
And if you feel, as of course you do, and you're entitled to do so, that we have made the wrong decision in the National Broadband Plan, and you have formed the view that we have, it's then incumbent on you at a point to say what you would do differently. And as I have said to you, the issues that I've grappled with are ones that you will have to grapple with if you believe we are doing the wrong thing. And I will restate what I have said before, that the decision in relation to this will not affect other projects. But as we know, every year things do happen with other projects that are not a result of policy decisions that are made by me. And what has now happened, Deputy, is that originally the view of your own party was that Ireland 2040 didn't exist, that it wasn't going to deliver a material benefit to communities and to citizens. You now hold the view that it's of such high value that can make such a difference to people that you're very eager to make sure it's not affected at all.
I'm moving on.
Can you correct the record? When did you hear me say it like that? I respect the commitments as made within the development plan, and I acknowledge the success it can be and the benefit it can be to other regions, especially. What I need to know is the money there to meet the demands, to meet the promises that you're making. And you're not being straight with the Irish people when you tell them that the money will come from future revenues. It's magic money you're expecting to have at your disposal. As I said before, you're like the Freddie Mercury of politics here, which are kind of magic stuff.
No.
But it's time you got clean with the public on this issue. No, I take exception to the point that you're making. You're here because we have the good grace to allow you to be in government and to be in a position to give stability to this country. But you're playing roughshod with us as a mistake that you regret.
We're now not compared to other members. They're very quickly.
I have on a number of occasions I've publicly acknowledged the role that Fianna Fáil have played in maintaining stability within this country at a point of difficulty. But I do stand by the point that I made. I heard this plan dismissed has been one of spin, it's one of substance.
Thank you, Minister.
And I will be outlining how this plan will be funded, and the money is there to make Ireland 2040 a reality.
Gone way over time.
That is the truth.
Would you please allow Deputy O'Brien? Can I ask you to